and I am definitely gonna load this one to the YouTube page. I do this thing. I have to tell you guys, I do this thing every Thursday. After I get off this team call, Mike has signed us up for an online poker tournament that starts at 8 o'clock. So whenever the team call is over, I'm rushing to get upstairs so that I can play in this poker tournament, which is for real money, $240, $300 sometimes to
Oh
play
my
in the
God.
tournament. So it's all my bad. Like, I try to load them, but if you don't click all the buttons when you load it to YouTube, then it sits in your video queue, just like pending and waiting for you to approve it. And I kept saying, I know I loaded it. I did load it, but then I didn't hit publish. So that's my bad on doing too many things at once. But tonight, I do not have poker. I'm all yours.
Are you good at poker?
I am good at poker. We've been to Vegas and Atlantic City a cumulative of 20 times probably, and I've played in probably 15 to 20 poker tournaments.
Oh, wow.
And out of that, I've moneyed in 16 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's like different amounts of money. Sometimes it's just like a couple $100 or maybe 1,000. I've never made it to like the top spot,
Right.
but enough to say that I'm decent at it. Or we can look at this from a sexist perspective, and I'm underrated at the table because I'm a lady.
Do you wear like sunglasses and stuff? Like
Advantage.
all shady? Do you wear like sunglasses? Like
No, I sit there and I'm like, so how's your life? Where are you from? Like, I'm literally just like having conversation, and they're like, this woman is at my table distracting me.
Right. Get me off my game. Just a shark.
Meanwhile, I'm just collecting the chips. So anyway, I do like playing poker because it's a game that requires you to like be engaged mentally. I don't like slots because it's like just a button and not feel engaging, but I like poker because it's one of the ones that you have to think about.
Yeah.
So as a sidebar, if anybody likes to play poker, me too.
Maybe I should learn.
All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. It is July 16th, 7:06 p.m. Thank you for hopping on the team call. It is always amazing to reconnect with you guys and see your beautiful faces. I know this time of year, especially with everything that's been going on, I have been craving connection with people and really being around my friends. And so getting to see you even on the team call is a wonderful time to just remember that we're a family and a sisterhood, and you guys, I love you all so much, and thank you for taking time out of your crazy lives to come on to this team call. What I wanted to talk about this week is something that Dr. Miles Monroe is a Caribbean preacher, but he back in the 80s and 90s, and he's got a lot of motivational videos. So if you spend a lot of time doing any kind of personal development and motivation videos, he's somebody that you might have come across. His name is Dr. Miles Monroe, and one of the things that he says that I always think about, especially because I'm a yoga teacher, hippy dippy yoga teacher. He says that anytime you're struggling in your business or life, look to nature. Nature has a lot of the answers. And he goes on and talks about lions and all these other things. But even still, the pretense of what that nugget is look to nature, because the way that the world operates and the way that the sun and the moon and everything kind of like cohabitate and work is pretty inspirational and miraculous. And if you can start to pay attention to the patterns, then maybe you can start to apply that to your own life. And specifically, one of the patterns that we see in nature that all of us, unless you live in like Texas, can understand is seasons. And so we all kind of are familiar with the 4 seasons: summer, spring, winter, and fall. There's even a song about it. But I think that one of the things that you learn in your life is that you also have seasons. We all have these times of planting. We have these times of working in the fields and sweating during the summer. We have fall, which is abundance. We have winter, which feels cold and dry and depressing. And I feel like for me, maybe it's because of like COVID and like the Black Lives Matter protests and all of the unrest in the world, it's kind of felt a little wintry to me, like a little lacking of love and vibrancy, even though technically we're in summer, right? Like technically it's July, but emotionally it's felt a little bit like winter. Like I'm not getting to see my friends and get hugs, and some of my friends won't hug me, and I respect that, but like even little things that I didn't realize I was missing, like when you're walking around in the grocery store, I'm smiling at people like a tard under my mask. They have no idea I'm smiling. I'm literally just trying to connect with them. So then I'm trying to do this weird eyebrow smile so that they can see that I'm like giving them like, I'm trying to talk with my eyes, because I'm trying to connect with the people around me because I'm starving for some kind of love and connection. And that's what winter is usually. It's cold, it's dormant. People go inside and they shut down for the months that winter exists. But what's really important about this whole idea, this whole mindset, is what nature teaches you is that seasons are cyclical, meaning they go around and around and around. You don't just have one summer and one fall and one winter and one spring. Every year you go through that process. And in your life, you will have that same cyclical nature where just because you had a winter before does not mean you won't ever have a winter again. You will have another winter, and you will have another spring, and you will have another fall. We're all living for the fall. The fire pits, the s'mores, the hoodies, the pumpkin spice lattes, we're all living for the fall. I personally love summer. That's my favorite season because I love the energy of summer. Pay attention to what your preference is, because that means you're really struggling in the other seasons, right? So let's start to look at our lives more from seasons. And if you're thinking about your life in seasons, right now in your business, it does the same thing. Your life goes in seasons, your business will go in seasons. And so there will be months where your sales are robust and you're blowing it out of the water and you're hitting ranks and you're promoting and people are saying yes with you barely even asking. And then there'll be other times when it feels like much harder and much colder in your messages. So pay attention to that too, because all that means is that you're just in the winter season. What we should do if we find ourselves in a season that isn't producing a harvest is remember that in order to get the harvest, we have to plant. This right now, at least for me, is planting season. And for you, it probably is as well, because I'm going to tell you, July is, if I'm being transparent, it's one of the slowest months that I've ever had in Younique. Every year I have the slow July. July is always a slow month for me. And it's because in the summertime, people are doing things. They're out, they're about, even with COVID, people are still outside more and people are traveling, believe it or not. I have lots of friends that are on vacation right now. So people are still traveling. Summer is a slow month, and some schools are going back to school next month. So parents are trying to get in that time with their kids. They're focused on making their summer the best summer ever with their children, and they're not focused on you. It's not a diss to you. It's a priority thing. We are not, despite what our ego might think, we are not at the forefront of everyone else's minds. They are at the forefront of their minds. So we have to do things to stay at the forefront of their minds. Make sure that we're consistent with our posting. Make sure that we're in their messengers. Make sure that we're following them and liking and commenting on all of their content so that they can still see us even though they're distracted. But right now, we are officially in planting season because especially if you haven't been with Younique for very long, some people like Holly and April can testify to this. We are about to have our convention, and after that, things are gonna get bananas, okay? So use these next couple of weeks up until convention to get your affairs in order, get your binders organized, check your systems. How do you, if somebody says yes to signing up and getting the kit, what is your system for onboarding them? How are you going to help them become a strong presenter? Now is the time to get those systems in place. Now is the time to clean all your makeup brushes and organize your makeup station. Now is the time to clean your office and your desk, because once the busy season happens, none of that other shit does. I'm literally the sloppiest, busiest person you've ever met. I'm kind of like a tornado. I just kind of have stuff everywhere, because to me, that's being organized is a distraction from getting work done. So I know that when I'm in the flurry of abundance and I'm harvesting thousands and thousands of dollars in sales and thousands and lots of 5, 10, 7 recruits in a month, I'm not focused on my organization. I'm not focused on my calendar and I'm planning. I'm just doing whatever I can to keep everything moving, because momentum and speed are all that matter in that moment. Okay. So use this downtime to take a breath, get your affairs in order, and know that the only way to have an abundant harvest in the fall is to start planting those seeds now. This is the worst time to take your foot off the pedal. The people that are the most successful in October and November, or September, October, and November in our business went ham in July, because the way that it works is you harvest 90 days after you sow. So pay attention to what you're doing now, the messages that you're sending now. It's okay if you're not getting immediate responses and results right now. Know that every message you send is a seed planted for you to harvest in 2 to 3 months. Okay, now is not the time to take your foot off the pedal. In fact, now it's time to double down, because you still want to keep yourself up at the level, you still want to have some sales this month, so you got to double down on the level of effort. Okay. I was listening to this podcast, to this Bob Heilig podcast. I can't stop raving about it, because I just want to have that man like an implant into my brain and just data dump all of his knowledge into my brain. And so I'm absorbing all of it. But one of the things that he said in one of his recent podcasts that I thought would be valuable for you guys is that this kind of business shines a spotlight on all of your insecurities. In a normal job, you can hide in your insecurities. You're not usually the forefront or the lead singer of your own band. You're usually like the drummer or the bass player in a company where there's a president and then there's other people that are, managing the ship. But when you work in direct sales, you have to move from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset. And an employee mindset is, what are my hours? I'm going to work 9 to 5. When do I get breaks? That's not my job. That's accounting's job. That's not my job. That's recruiting's job. But when you are a business owner, you wear all the hats and you work until the job is done, not until the 5 o'clock comes around and you can punch your time card out. So what this business does because of that is it shines a spotlight directly on all of your insecurities and all of your limiting beliefs. So if at some point in your life you were given a limiting belief, let's just say you're not smart. Like if your parents dismissed your accomplishments and made you feel not very smart, then now you might have a limiting belief that says you're not smart enough to do a business like this. And as a result, you will start to sabotage. Or if you have stories in your mind that say things like, I'm not good at recruiting. If you have that belief, You will prove yourself right every time you turn around. So pay attention to your limiting of beliefs, because when the spotlight is shined on it, you have two choices. You can scurry and run away from it, deny and die, or you can face it and overcome it and be a lighthouse for the next person on your team. Because what's happening is your team is a reflection of all of the things that you are not good at. If you are not good at recruiting, you're going to recruit an entire team of people that are not good at recruiting. If you are not good at sales, you're going to have an entire team of people that are not good at sales, because you cast your own limiting beliefs onto your team. So if you don't feel like you're smart enough, you're going to think they're not smart enough. If you feel like you're not talented enough, you're going to think they're not talented enough. And so you start creating this cycle around your belief. The alternative is to challenge those beliefs, to say, I know I've thought this way my whole life. Is it still true that I'm broken? Especially if you had trauma in your life. And I had lots of trauma. Some of you know my story. I'll just quickly give you the cliff notes. I was molested by my stepdad and my uncle from the time I was 4 years old until I was 12 years old. I reported him over and over and over again. I told people, and I was in and out of foster care. I had this limiting belief that people wouldn't believe me, because they didn't. Because I had these examples of people not believing me. My own mother didn't believe me. My own mother sat on my stepfather's side of the courtroom while I, a 13-year-old girl, had to testify against him and talk about all the ways that he violated me alone in front of a judge and jury of people that strangers I didn't even know. My own mother sat on his side. Okay. So I had this belief, this is where I'm going with this. It's deep. So that's what this business is. It requires you to peel back the layers and do the hard work. I had this belief that people wouldn't believe me when I told them something was good, or when I did something. I always felt like people assumed that I was lying about everything. So when I came into this business, I assumed that people wouldn't want to be a part of this business because they would think that I was making it up. And it slowed me down, because deep down inside, I had this belief that people wouldn't believe that it was as good as it can be. And that there were no strings attached. And you know what? I found a lot of people that didn't believe me, because I was looking for those kind of people. See where I'm going with that? I was looking for those kind of people. I was calling them into my life with my actions and the types of people I was messaging. I was intentionally messaging people that would reject me because it validated my story. And it wasn't until I could realize that I could speak my truth and people would believe me. Do any of you right now think that I'm a liar? No, I hope not. God, I hope not. But in my life, I had been called a liar so many times, I assumed I had no credibility with anyone. Every relationship I ever had, I had no credibility. And I acted that way. And I showed up that way. And so that's where I wanted to go with this. Most people leave this business not because of their inability, but because of their lack of belief in themselves. So they might start this business with a little bit of hope, but the moment they don't get the instant results, then it starts to play into the narrative of their insecurities, and it only then in fact starts to reinforce their limiting beliefs. Oh, nobody signed up with me this month. It's because I'm not good enough. Nobody bought anything from me this week. It's because I'm not meant to get to the top. I'll always be this version of myself. Okay, so I want you to imagine that your limiting beliefs, just imagine with me. I'm not asking you to actually do the work. I just want you to imagine that your limiting beliefs are the reason you have limiting results. And if you could just start there with opening your mind to the idea that that statement might be true. Your limited results are a direct result of your limiting beliefs. I'm not asking you to change your whole life. But if you could just start with the idea that what I just said might be true, you can start to pull at the thread. Pull at the thread, start to peel back the layers of that lack of belief in yourself. Because I believe that every single person has the ability to get exactly where I am in this business. I am not freaking special. In fact, I've had to climb just as many mountains as you have, and maybe sometimes more mountains. The only difference is that from the beginning, I decided that I could do this. I could do this. And so it wasn't a lack of belief. It was a lack of knowledge. It was a lack of time. And there were other things that I had to dismantle about my limiting beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, beliefs in general, I have some notes I was preparing for you guys. Beliefs are thoughts that we deem facts. That's all beliefs are. Beliefs are thoughts, stories that we have identified in our brain and said, that's true, that's a fact, but it's a story. And if you can tell yourself a story, you can change it and you can make it a different story. Okay, so that's where we really want to work in our business. If you're struggling, most of your struggles are probably directly related to your lack of belief in yourself. And I know that sucks, and that's why a lot of people quit and they run, because they'd rather assume that it's a faulty business model, or it's the compensation plan, or the products are too pricey, or it's because coronavirus and shipping delays, and it's a million other things. It could never be us that's the problem. But to the ones that are brave enough to look inside, those are the ones that are going to get over those hurdles and thrive in this business. You have to be willing to battle your own demons in order to get to the top. And I'm still battling demons. I'm still looking for ways that I'm failing as a person and that I need to overcome limiting beliefs. I'm always questing for that, because I know that 9 times out of 10, I am my own worst enemy. I've played that story out my whole life. I am my own worst enemy. I beat myself up more than anybody else could ever beat me up. I was out at the snowball stand and this lady was making fun of my back fat. And I was like, pick something that actually means something to me. I've been my own worst enemy for 40 years. My back fat is like so low on the list of things that I think I suck at. You're not even a blip on my radar, lady. Like, my physical body is not even something I focus on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been my own worst enemy my whole life. And maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you pick yourself apart. Maybe you overthink every action that you take. And that is part of your limiting belief. And it's distraction from you succeeding. So, you know, if you have trauma, or if your parents embedded these little things, or maybe bullies told you were ugly, and now here you are trying to be a brand rep for a beauty brand, but deep down inside you think you're ugly, of course you're not going to practice your skills. Of course you're not going to work on getting better selfies and get good lighting, because you want to have a story that we can never be a liar in our own mind. We can never be a liar in our own mind. So every action that you take is only to validate the story that you're already telling to yourself. So if you feel like you're not beautiful, sis, one, first thing, come sit next to me, because I think you're a freaking queen. But second, look to where that came from. Somebody that was probably jealous, somebody that probably didn't care about you, somebody that was probably trying to diminish your shine because it threatened their insecurities. And you've taken it on as a belief and a fact. And you've owned it for your whole life. And it's time to start writing a new story. The good things about stories is that it's like a channel on the radio. I say this all the time to my yoga students. If your story isn't kind and supporting where you want to be in your life, change the channel. And you imagine all of your thoughts as like different channels in the radio. Country, top pop, hip hop, you know, you've got all these different channels. If you're listening to a station that you don't like, that isn't supporting your goals and where you want to be in the world, you got to change the channel. Like, literally, maybe even visualize it in your own mind, changing the channel. I want to think about something different. And one of the fastest ways to help you reprogram your mind is with personal development. It's with good books like You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, and The Happiness Project, and Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. There are a lot of books out there that will help you start to see your value. Atomic Habits is a good one. I love that one. I'm glad you have that one, Laura. But everything you think is not a fact. Would you agree with that statement? Everything you think is not a fact. And so if we can start to identify the lies that we are telling ourselves, we can stop sabotaging our success. Even, especially right now when we're in a drought, like this July is maybe slower than you were hoping it would be, even in the downtime, you need to be able to stand in your belief in yourself that you can figure it out. All right, we can figure this out together. And that's another thing for you to remember. You're not alone. You have the whole Glam Squad. Any person on our team, if you reached out to them and said, I'm having a rough day right now, I'm not feeling myself, they would scoop you up in a messenger, they would send you ghost hugs, whatever they could to let you know that you were seen and you were heard and you were worthy. Not a single person on this team would let you continue feeling like a piece of crap if they knew that you were hurting. Okay, so reach out, because we're all here for each other. We all need each other. This sense of community, this culture, this team culture is what I crave. I want you all to be winning, and I want you all to be the strongest, best version of yourself. Okay, and it all starts with that spotlight on your limiting beliefs. Okay, all right. So that is pretty much all I wanted to talk about as far as the team call, but I do have a prize to give away tonight. I decided that I'm gonna start doing this every week, or as many weeks as I have, like little prizes. I have a prize bucket. You know when you go to the dentist and you get to pick a prize when you leave? I have a prize bucket upstairs of things that I just buy when I'm out and about. I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And so I buy all these like little things, and then I just have a big prize bucket. So I'm gonna start every Monday challenging the team, and then on Thursday, anybody that earned an entry is I'm gonna call the winner live. So this week, I've got this Hallmark notebook that says Amazing and Empowered. It's just a cute little notebook and a $10 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. The requirements is that you had to have at least one $50 order between the time I posted it and right now. So up until that point, there were 4 people that had earned it. Let me share my screen. I want you guys to see it live, because that's like the fun stuff, even though none of those people are even on here right now. Rude. But now you'll know that you can, next week, don't miss it. Okay, share screen. And then we're gonna go, wait, we've got to switch to wheel to side. Okay, so Stina had 2 entries, Kate had an entry, and Crystal had an entry, and we are just gonna spin the wheel. And it's Kate. Of course it's Kate. She's awesome. Kate is going to win this awesome dunk. I hope she likes Dunkin'. So she's going to get the Dunkin' gift card and the thing and the notebook, which she can write down all of her orders in, because that lady is a selling machine. So that was all I had for the team talk, but I would love to open it up for questions since it's only 7:30. We have a few more minutes. If anybody has anything going on, April's raising her hand. I'm gonna unmute you, baby.
Yeah, no, it's not even a question. It was really just a testament, because like you said, you know, like me and Holly, we've been here for a minute, and I know in the beginning I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to be a kidnapper. And the whole first year that I did this, I had 1 person join my team. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be a leader. I wasn't trying to pursue this. And I was a kidnapper. That's what I attracted. I attracted kidnappers. And it wasn't until months and months of the Glam Squad believing in me that I finally believed in myself and faced my fears and went live and put up the posts and put up the whatever it was that we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a long time to say, what do I have to lose? What's the worst that can happen? You know what I'm saying? So when you say, like, you get what you put out into the world and you attract what you are, I can totally testify to that and say that that's exactly what happens, because it wasn't until I changed my mindset and said, you know what, what's the worst that could happen? I might actually be successful with this. That then you know, I went live. And I mean, you don't have to go live, but it sure does help a whole lot. Within a couple of months of that, I actually hit pink. And I hit pink with one person on my team because I still didn't think I needed to recruit in this business. I thought I could do it alone. And I was a very stubborn person when I knew what I needed to do. I listened to every training I could listen to. I listened to top leaders. I listened to everybody saying, you know, book, sell, you know, repeat, recruit. And I was like, no, I don't need to recruit. I don't need to recruit. I feel awkward about that. I feel some kind of way about that, you know? And it wasn't until I hit pink status but like basically by myself that I was like, holy shit, I really need to recruit. But I was still looking for kidnappers. I wasn't looking for people that wanted to improve their life or improve their finances or grow in any way, shape, or form. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset and saw myself growing that I actually believed I could help others grow. So until you believe that you can change and believe that you can grow as a person, that switch isn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I wish I would have started watching personal development from day one. I wish I didn't put it off for a year. I wish that I didn't listen to the people above me that were saying, if you want what I have, you have to do what I do, because you're not going to have this life. You're not going to have this, you know, fulfillment that the business brings you. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot more fulfillment at Black Status with 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I feel like right now I have such fulfillment from this. Even at Pink Status, I had so much more fulfillment, you know, because I had a purpose. So, you know, I went through all those waves. I hit Pink Status and I said, whoa, you know, now we're on fire, you know, like now the rocket took off. Now it's time. And you know what? I got paid as yellow for a year. And it's not about what status, what color you are. It's about the effort you give it. It's about, you know, do you have to go live every day? No. I mean, at this point, I think I go live like maybe 3 times a week. But when I go live, I make sure I bring really good content, you know, and I make sure that I show up for my business every single day, and everything I put on Facebook reflects back to my business. So you're not going to go up my wall and see, oh my God, I hate my life today. You know, like, you're just not going to see that anymore. You know, you have to be uplifting. You have to be encouraging. You have to engage with others. You're not ever going to get somebody to comment on your post if you don't comment on theirs first. People are never going to see your wall if you're not adding new friends and saying, go into Messenger and say, oh, hey, thanks for the ad. It's nice to meet you. You know, you don't have to shove Unique down somebody's throat. Just put them on your radar. And that's what Marie's kind of talking about with planting seeds now, because once you plant that seed and now they're on your radar and they're in your feed, they're going to say, what's this chick going live about? Let me watch this for a minute. You know, what is this about Christmas in July? I need me a gift. I need a present. What's Christmas in July all about? And you know what?
You can't plant a seed and then keep digging it back up to see if it's growing. Like, that's what we do. We send a message and then we keep going back to it. You got to plant it and let it do its thing, and then let it grow. And that's why I say it takes up to 90 days for a seed that's planted to harvest. That's why you'll hear from people that you might not have even known were watching you, and they'll say things like, I've been watching you for 5 years.
Like,
Yeah. you know. But
Because
it's
you gotta wait for
I'm
the
just
seed to be ready.
logistically, I'm literally saying, like, I just on a personal note, July is a slow month. It's always been a slow month. All the July, June, January are like the worst months. That's what I've been told. And I would have to agree. But you know what? I also know that this is my time to work on me, because when my team and when we were running for green status, I was in Messenger 10 hours a day. Now that's money's in the messenger. They always, anybody in this business that has success will tell you money is in the messenger. You cannot post and pray. It will not work. How do you expect people to know that you have a business and you have these amazing products if I go on your wall and I don't even know? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you're pushing and you're getting started, you have to reach out your hand. You have to be in Messenger. Hey, I just started this new business. I'm super excited about it. I'd love to tell you all about it. Would you like to hear about it? Offer the hand. But then there's a time also where you need to just come back from it. You can't be in somebody's inbox every single month. Oh, I got a great kudos again this month. Oh, I got a great kudos again this month. Oh, I got a great kudos again this month. And they're like, block. Okay, like, enough of you, because people get sick of that. So I kind of like, you got to figure out what works for you, but you can't stop anything. You have to post every day. You have to be in your stories every day. You have to make some kind of connection. It doesn't have to be a sale in Messenger, but if somebody is going through something, you can send them a quick message and be like, yo, listen, I just saw what you posted and I want you to know I'm here for you. Oh, I just bought a new car. Oh, you just bought a new car? Girl, that's awesome. Who did you go through? Who did they finance through? Did they give you a good rate? Because you're interested. People aren't going to be interested in you unless you're interested in them. So it's like, my work this whole month, okay, and yes, I have sales this month, but I haven't done a flash sale, a trunk sale, a party. I haven't done a goodie bag. I haven't, and I'm good for coming up with ideas like that and pushing for sales because I'm a sales driven person. But now I'm realizing it's not all about sales all the time. Now I got to work. Now that I know it's a shitty sales month, now I got to work on relationships. Now I got to work on building that network. I got to be adding 20 friends a day. I got to be commenting on everybody's stuff. I got to be entertaining. When I go live, I got to be entertaining. It's not, yes, say, here's my website pinned in the comments. Yes, say, we have an awesome kudos this month. It's build your own. The more you bulk, the more you save. Say those things. But so what are you doing with your kids all summer? Because in New York, all our camps are closed. So like, kids can't go to school. You can't go to camp. You can't go to the park. You can't do anything. So what are you doing to keep your kids occupied this year? What are you doing to keep your sanity? Because I need a little help here. You know what I mean? What, like,
relatability.
Talk about other things besides just the makeup and the sales and the recruiting and the this and the that. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place for everything. And this is now the time where you're building that. And you're going to go through these times. There's been times when I was getting paid as yellow, when I was thinking I would never find somebody to join my team, when I was thinking, why did I even sign up for this business? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to toss it. I'm going to toss in the towel. It's just hard. Okay. Like, anybody that told you that this was going to be easy lied to you. This is not easy. This is hard work. It's dedication. It's every single day you got to show up. You know what? But you get to choose how hard you show up. As long as you show up, it doesn't have to be
100 miles an hour all
every
the time. You can go 25 miles an hour.
Exactly.
To get where you need to go.
You can pull it back. Just don't take your foot out of the water. You know what I'm saying? You can pull it back a lot. You just make sure you're uplifting somebody. You're posting about your business. You're posting about what have you learned since you started for the new girls? What have you learned since you started?
And another thing that I want to add to that, April, thank you for sharing because that's valuable insight. It's important for them to hear it from several people to know that it's very common what you're feeling. But another thing also is that our society glorifies the busy person. It does not glorify slow times. And so one of the things that I've noticed in July with my own personal demons is that when I go slow, I feel bad. When I go slow, I feel shame. So I feel like there's something wrong with me if I'm not running 1,000 miles an hour every day, all day. But there is something very valuable about taking a beat and allowing yourself to rest. That's how we recharge. You can't pour from an empty cup. So pay attention to your shame story. I feel ashamed if I'm not doing the most all the time. And is it true that I'm not a good leader if I take a day off or I turn my phone off for a day because social media has gotten out of control? No, it's protecting my sanity so that I can keep pouring. So pay attention to that story as well, because if you feel bad because you're not working as much as you know you possibly could, that's okay. You know that you can, and there are times when we sprint, there are times when we jog, and there are times when we walk. But as long as you're still moving, you're doing the right thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The only way to fail is to quit. Everything else is learning and growing. Okay. So give yourself some slack and some grace if you've been beating yourself up because you know deep down inside you are capable of more, but you might not be doing more because of whatever external circumstances are going on in your life. Give yourself a little grace and a pass to say, I can be in all of these phases and still be worthy. I can be in the summer and be worthy. I can be in the winter and be worthy. I can be in the fall and be worthy. You are not only worthy when you're winning. That's a deep one. You are not only worthy when you're winning, okay? You are worthy all the time. All right. Anybody else? Holly, are you eating ice cream or oats?
She's eating oats. We know she's eating her
She's
oatmeal.
eating her egg white oats. Laura, you had something to say?
Yeah, I actually have a couple questions for April and a group, but you just reminded me of, Marie had recommended this book by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. I won't go into the book, but I got some bonuses with the book, and one of them is an email that I got today, and I just thought it was interesting because you were talking about the ways you're connecting with your customers. And two of the things that stuck out to me from the email were, I say in every talk I give, all things being equal, people buy from their friends. So make everything else equal and then go make a lot of friends. So building those relationships is so important, and I think you're smart to do that. Also, in marketing, we talk a lot about multi-touch campaigns. So not just always sending them, marketing automation emails, not just always using Messenger. I know I've talked about how I tend to have a lot of phone calls, but in the same email, 6 is being valuable and useful is all you ever need to do to sell things. Help people out, send interesting posts, write birthday cards, record videos sharing your ideas for growing their business, introduce people who would benefit from knowing each other. So, then get out of the way and expect nothing in return. Do this consistently and authentically, and people will find ways to give you money, I promise. So there's a lot of ways to add value in a way that a very authentic way. And I think one of the best things that I do for, and people do for me, is connect me with people that, can help me, or I'm out of work right now, and a lot of people will just reach out and just say, hey, I know somebody at Huron, this consulting company, if you want me to introduce you, I will. So just stuff like that. But the questions I wanted to ask, and the only other thing I wanted to say is I tend to be a lot like Marie. I'm very I'm kind of like, what's the phrase, ready, fire, aim, or something like that. It's like you doing it backward. I tend to just go full throttle, 100%, without kind of taken a minute to think strategically. And as a business owner, you really do need to prioritize taking the time to think strategically and plan and work on the business versus, just in the business all the time, which I'm sure you've heard that time and time again. But I wanted to ask, and I'll try to ask this because I know there's sensitivity around like salary and stuff, but for instance, you mentioned, April, that you were spending 10 hours on Messenger. Is there ever a point where you feel like the work I'm putting in is not, it ends up that I'm making $1.35 an hour? Like, was there any animosity
I honestly have never sat and thought about what am I making an hour? You know what I'm saying? Like, my thought process on that is I get paid by the hour at work. That's where I get paid by the hour.
Yeah.
I don't get paid by the hour doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've never thought of it in those terms, because then I already have self-esteem and self-confidence issues, and I don't need to devalue myself any more than I do on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So basically, I've never thought of it in those terms, but there has been so many days that I've sat here and thought, I just wasted so much time of my life sending messages for nothing. And I mean, I've told Marie this, like, we went to convention last year in August, and I came back on fire, fire. Let me tell you, on fire. I put up a post of me at the Miami Nights party, and me and Marie standing in pink freaking fluorescent palm trees in high heel and slit dresses, looking like rock stars.
Fabulous.
I swear to God, I got 498 comments on that picture.
That's all you need
And
picture.
And I'm telling you, my mind was blown. It was blown. I never had so many comments, because you want to know what it was? People didn't believe I was really doing this. They finally saw me at convention. They saw me invest in myself. They saw me invest in my business. They saw me as the only person on my team as pink status at the time show up, okay? Because we didn't have any yellow statuses come to convention. And I'm telling you, I waited until literally 30 days before convention to buy that ticket, because I didn't think I deserved to be there. And people watched me publicly transform. And when I got 498 likes and comments on that picture, let me tell you, I was on fire. And I sat on my deck and I messaged every single person that liked that picture and said, thank you so much for supporting me and believing me and supporting my business. It means the world to me. I couldn't be more grateful. I wasn't asking for a sale. I wasn't asking for nothing. It was reaching out and making that connection. Yep. And I'm telling you, it wasn't until I did that. I did all of that in September. Actually, no, it was August. But I hit blue status for the first time in November. So when they say you plant the seeds 90 days in advance, that is proof in the pudding that I didn't ask for a sale. I didn't run a pitch. I didn't, nothing. I led the conversation with gratitude.
Yeah.
And when you lead with gratitude, then that's when you build the relationships that you need to be successful in this business.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, Laura, what I would say is the biggest difference, the biggest reason why I don't think like that either about my hourly rate is because when you think about hourly rates, it's an employee mindset. Because even when you get to the top of your company, you become salary. So what happens when you become salary, you don't get an hourly rate anymore. You get paid a certain amount to make sure the work is done. And that's like a segue to being a business owner. A business owner, if I bought a brick and mortar, let's just say I decided to open up a donut shop, okay? I would probably be working 20 hours a day to get that business up and running. And in the beginning, your compensation to effort ratio is very low, but it's because you plant all of that time and energy at the beginning. That's when
Yeah.
that's what you have
And
to
then
suffer through in order for it to flip scales. And then
And-
once you've planted, then you'll be able to receive in a rate that's higher than you could have ever imagined when you're getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars for an hour's worth of work. So
right. You should
so
put in the work up front.
hourly rate is a very employee based mindset, so be careful of that. When you are a business owner that wants to be successful, I don't care how much time it takes me, I don't care how many hours I have to spend on a team call serving you guys. I'm not making any sales right now. I didn't promote right now. Like, this is nothing in the grand scheme of things as far as it goes to my pocketbook.
Mhm.
However, it's giving me something different knowing that I was serving you on a mental and emotional level in your business. So sometimes we
And-
get paid in other things besides money, and that's going to be valuable to you as well.
Sure.
That's another thing I want to touch on is that, something I learned at convention was you have to marry the effort and divorce the expectation.
Mhm.
So when you're talking about, do you ever feel like you wasted so much time in Messenger? All the time, all the time. And I literally have to grab myself and bring myself back and say, that was not time wasted. Like, I may not have gotten the results that I wanted, but I did it. I did the work
But yeah, it's worth
involved.
it. Yeah,
So
worth
it's like
the touch
we were
point, you know?
doing a recruiting challenge, and I was sending 100 recruiting messages a day. Okay, I have like almost 3,000 friends, and it was a matter of having to message your entire friend list within 30 days, and that's like almost over a little bit over 100 a day, and that's crazy. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do this. And you know what? I did it. And I literally, I don't have a huge team. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple of maybes. I got a couple of give me 2 weeks. I got a couple of, not right now. I got flat out no's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't get the expectation that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I could have very well flipped that in my mind and said, I just wasted so much time.
Right.
But eventually, I now have 47 people on my team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, they may not have been, you can't get in people's minds. The bottom line was send the message.
Yeah.
Send the message. It doesn't matter what the outcome is.
Right.
If you build a list of potential, then you're getting a list of potential. So that's worth the effort right there.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with sales. When COVID started and we had this, I was doing the appreciation bundles. I sold so many bundles in 8 hours of my life.
Yeah.
I did not put my phone down for probably 15, 16 hours.
Yeah.
But I had such good results.
You have a lot of great ideas.
It was like, holy moly, like, can you imagine if I didn't bother to message anybody back on that post?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of set yourself up to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know I'm working the next 4 nights in a row and I have to sleep and I have to cook and clean and be a mom and, do all of the things,
yeah,
I'm not going to put up a post like that telling me, tell me what you do. Do you do your hair or your makeup first?
Right.
I'm not going to put a post up like that, because then I got to message every single person and say,
yeah,
well, guess what? I got a great kudos. It's 25% off 5 items. Like, I can totally hook you up. I don't have time for that. So I have to manage my time based around what I can actively accomplish, because I'm setting myself up for failure.
Yep.
If I don't follow through. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like,
as it is possible, everyone could respond, and then you're screwed.
I hope everyone responds. More
Right.
people that comment
It's a
on
good
stuff,
problem to have. But
because you want to know something. Like, I use my feed to my advantage. Okay, so y'all know I just bought a car yesterday. First time my whole life I've ever bought a car without a cosigner. It took 39 motherfucking years, and I goddamn did it. And I'm like, whoop, whoop. I can't even
bought myself
fathom
a
it.
car when I was 40.
So proud.
Can't
So
even fathom it. But you want to know
Okay.
what I'm going to message every single person that
You're a caller and your new car.
commented on my car? Hey, you want some financial freedom? I got an opportunity for you, boo.
That
And I'm
actually, when Marie did that, was very impactful.
That is my only message. I'm not going to say, hi, I'm a unique consultant. Would you like to
you
do
don't
my
need to
team?
say another word. That speaks for itself.
Nope. Thank you so much for the props on my new car. You need financial freedom in your life? I got a deal for you. Let's talk.
Love it.
Yeah, April has transformed leaps and bounds
You know what
over the last couple of years, and it's been a pleasure to
I've
watch
seen
her
it over the
transform.
last short months that I've even been here. You
Yeah.
know, like I've seen just
Because that's what I'm saying.
balance.
Everything I put in my feed, everything comes back to my business. Some way, shape, or form, I can manipulate everything to my business. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you need to be able to think outside the box that way too. Don't just think you got to post graphics. Don't just think you got to go live about makeup. You know, like I do the Wednesday wake up when I remember. Okay?
I am my business. That's what I say.
You know what
every
I'm
morning when I
saying?
wake up.
Like,
I am my business.
exactly. So it's like you got to be able to give back more than what you're expecting in return. Yeah, I expect at some point you're going to buy some makeup from me because we have a connection and you want to support me, and great. And when that day comes, I'm going to be ready to hook you up with some great makeup.
Right.
But until that day comes, I still have to throw stuff out there.
But you're staying
You know?
on top of mind with them by being consistent. You know,
I'm planting seeds. So I went to ShopRite today with my new car, all scared I was going to hit another one. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go to ShopRite, and a dozen roses is on sale. It's down from $19 to $7.50. And I said, well, I'll buy me some flowers. So I bought myself a dozen long stem red roses today.
I love it.
And you know what I did? I took a 3D picture and I put it on my wall, and I said, don't ever wait for somebody to buy you flowers. You stop, you smell the roses, and you buy them your damn self because you deserve it. And what is that seed I just planted? You don't need somebody to give you the life you want. You go get the life you want. That's the seed I planted. So the 57 comments I got on my roses today, guess what? In a week from now, I can message all those people and be like, you deserve some flowers today. Why don't you go buy them for yourself? I don't have the money. Well, guess what? I got to wait for you to have the money because you deserve roses every day.
You can
And
even
you
do
deserve to be able to get
that
it.
in a post, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, take every single thing you put up and flip it to your advantage.
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome, April.
Thank
Congratulations
you for all
on the new
that,
car.
April. Very, very nice to hear another perspective besides my own on the team call.
Sorry.
Thank you for sharing. No, I love it. I love it because I think it's important to see a lot of different sides and a lot of different personalities. Before we get off here, I just want to say, Tashina, are you okay? Do you have any questions? How you doing, boo? Yeah, I'm gonna make you talk. There's only 4 of us left.
I was just listening. I was taking it all in. I think I was getting when you were saying the depressed part and like getting down on myself because I am one that's hard. And I know that the summer months are a lot of my slow months too. And I know I talked to you about that. So that's it was getting me down. But then I'm getting excited about the Christmas in July. I haven't had a lot of people wanting to really message me back or even comment on anything. So I know in like my VIP business group, I kind of decided to do a little thing that anybody that liked it, comment. I mean, just I don't care if you sold it or bought anything, just like my comments. If you like it, you comment. I'm putting them in a giveaway this month. So that way maybe I can at least get them to start just letting me know that they see it. Because I know that they see it because my group tells me.
Tashina, can I just interject really quick and not to cut you off? You should you're relatively new, right? How long have you been?
I was
how
with,
long have you been?
I've been back since, I guess, well, beginning of February.
Okay,
I was,
so I want you to go back to February in your back office
Mhm.
and all of your customers, like go through your back office, go through Messenger, like whatever you have to keep track of your customers, write all their names down. And then this week, before the Christmas in July, you reach out to them, send them a message. Don't put a post. I mean, keep posting. Post every day. Post it in your stories every day. Let people know it's coming. Just keep doing it. Even if it's repetitive, keep doing it. But then I want you to send a message to them and be like, hey, girl, I just wanted to let you, I know you've bought from me in the past, and I just want to let you know that I'm doing a Christmas in July sale on such and such date. And if you're needing anything restocked, you can get it at 25% off. Would you like me to add you to the group? It's a simple yes or no question. Yes, add me. No, don't. So you're asking their permission and you're building that group that you're going to have your Christmas in July in. And they may need a refill. They may want to get, like, when I've been going live, I've been kind of throwing the angle out there of, you're going to need mascara. You're going to need lash primer. You're going to need setting powder. So why not get it for 25% off for when you run out? Like, don't wait till you run out.
How many people stocked up on toilet paper for like 6 months worth of toilet paper? People have no problem buying an extra of things for the sake of buying extra.
Exactly.
So
And they don't have to, the way that it's working to our advantage is they don't have to buy 5 to get 25% off. We're going to do that for them. So they only have to buy 1. So I think it would be very productive for you, and it'll give you a goal to work on to stay more motivated. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can continue. I'm sorry I interjected.
No, you're fine. Then another thing that was kind of always getting me down, because like I know when I first started, I was selling kits like that, and it was really making me excited. I'm like, I got this. I was doing better than I did the last time I was with Unique. But those people were kidnappers. Like they didn't go any further. Like a couple of them wanted to, and then they're like, well, I'm just too busy to do it. And I know one, she's a supervisor at my company that I work for, and then she also owns a gas station, and she's pregnant. So I know that she's got a lot on her plate, and she wants to do this, but she's just kind of like, I just don't know if I can. And she's having a baby in October. So I don't see her really doing anything anytime soon. But I want somebody that will go and kind of help me push. It's just that one, like you had, April, in the beginning. I know eventually I would need more, but if I had that one to kind of bounce off of me and we could hype each other up.
Okay, so until you find that one, you have us. You have me. You want me to hype you up? You call me. I'll hype you up. You're officially a butterfly. We got this. I'll run with you.
I did a
Because
post.
you can't make people want this, and I struggle with this every day, still to this day. You can't make people work. You can't make people do the damn things. They're either going to do it or they're not. And it's a very touchy situation. And now I'm seeing it from a whole nother perspective, just because I've had so much exposure to this problem for so long that I kind of had to work on myself and my mindset and like flip the switch on it and not take it personal. And I know that if I can't get anybody to run with me on my team below me, that, you know what? I have people on the side of me that'll run. I don't need, like, the Christmas in July. I don't need anybody on my team to do Christmas in July. Y'all don't want to do it and make the money, then that's on you. Because I got Marie doing it. I got Holly doing it. I got you doing it. I got Amber doing it. I got Sherry doing it. I got other people doing it with me to keep me motivated. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you can't count on the people under you to give you the success you feel like you deserve.
Well, and
Because
I think Tashina, your struggle is that you did have a taste of like the success. And remember what I said, it's about the seasons, right? Summer, spring, winter, and fall. I feel like you might be right now in your winter, and now it's about bunkering down and weathering the dry spell. But while we're weathering the dry spell, we can't stop planting, because the only way to harvest is by planting. So ask yourself, look back, how many messages have you actually sent this month?
Not very many. I mean, I have, because I was getting down and I'm like trying not to, and I've noticed that like every morning I try to post something inspirational, something. I do focus a lot on mental health because that is something that I battle with. So I know a lot of people that do. So I do post, mental health quotes, or just sometimes it's funny, sometimes, and I notice that those get shared like crazy. But I
Yep.
can't get any of my unique stuff shared. So I'm like
Nope.
trying to figure out the connection between that on how to get that interaction.
What I would do is network with the people that are commenting on those posts. The ones that are getting the traction, make them see first. Click see first on their profile so that they're showing up in your timeline, and then you're going to be able to comment and network back with them when they're networking with you. Don't assume that just because they're not responding to your unique things, that your unique things are bad. They might just not be seeing those things, or it might not be touching their heart. So you're still having to refine your message. And sometimes when it comes to our unique business, we post very statically, like a corporate graphic or a kit pick with a verbiage that somebody else and 10 other people had already shared. So maybe they've already seen it, so they're numb to it. So maybe think about ways to present the unique things that are more personal to you. That's how you're going to get those people to respond to those posts as well. But what I think for you more than anything is that to have an honest conversation with yourself. If you looked at the month when you did sponsor those, even if they were kidnappers, I don't care that they're kidnappers. I guarantee you were sending way more messages when you first started than you are right now. And that's a direct reflection of the effort, that the results that you're receiving. Your effort and your results are probably going hand in hand. And what I want to tell you is that it's okay for you to be slow this month. You're not doing anything wrong.
I let depression get the best of me. Like last month was really bad for me because I shut out all aspects last month. Like I didn't even want to get out of bed half the time. I'd get up to work my day job. I'd deal with my kids when I needed to, but other than that, I shut them out. I stayed in my room most of the time. So I did see a decline there, and I think that I'm still kind of trying to get out of that with messaging people, and then I feel like now I get into the messaging where I had one post about the kit, about not having to sell or anything. I think other people had shared it, but I got some good feedback on that, and I messaged probably 9 or 10 people, and I don't know if I just overdid it or I didn't get nothing. Like I might have got a couple that said, okay, well maybe in a little while, or I didn't have money right now. And so I tried to kind of ask questions on, well, if it was for the money, would you, if you had the money, would you do it right now? So then I told them about the Klarna, whatever that is. And one girl said she looked into it. I'm actually about to follow up with them probably tonight or tomorrow on that, and just let them know that this is the last month for that $50 gift card, right? Or the $50 credit.
Mm-hmm.
So just let them know that. Now those might all be kidnappers. In the beginning, I think my motivation with that was I get 500 points for every kit. That's going to be my ticket on getting that trip. Then I slowed down and I kept telling myself, I'm not going to get that trip. But
limiting beliefs. We just talked about limiting beliefs. You're already claiming that you're not going to get it. So guess what? You're not going to get it.
Right. And that was this morning. I was sitting there thinking about that too, because I don't know if I seen someone's post about it. And I thought September is like a little over a month away. And so I have it's like 2.5 months or a little over 2 months. Yeah. So I was like sitting there in my mind. I'm like, well, it's not impossible.
No.
And I work with a monthly goal at my job. We have a set dollar amount that we have to bring in every month. So I know the ups and downs of it may look like you're not doing it in the last 2 weeks. Boom. There it is.
Last week is always the best week of the month.
Yeah. I mean, what was it with my actual day job? I hit my monthly goal like 6 months in a row. And half the time it was that last day, that last 2 days, I got like my miracle money is what I used to call it. Because it would just come out of nowhere. And I need to get that mindset of that miracle is going to be there. It's going to come. I mean, I still worked for it, but it's going to come. And I realized that this morning. So it was kind of great that you were actually talking about the mindset thing.
I'm so
Christina.
glad, because I'll tell you right now, it's not the time to take your foot off the pedal. The middle of the month, the middle of the push for anything always is the driest. But like, I'll tell you, like, especially for the trip, because I know you really want to earn the trip and I can't wait for you to earn it, is at the last month, they almost always do like a double points. So, but if you let up now, then you're going to be too far behind where even double points couldn't help you. But imagine you were only 10,000 points away going into the last month, and then they said, oh, double points. And then you're like, it's on,
Right.
you know, but right now is when it's not the time to let go. And I thank you for, first of all, being honest and saying, I've been struggling with mental health. I don't know a single person in my life that isn't struggling with some sort of mental health things. The world is fucking bananas right now. So if you're feeling that way, I see you. Me too. And I've battled it as well. But what makes the difference between the survivors, our ability to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and not sit in that suck. We can't sit in the suck. We know it. It's a story we've had our whole lives. It's time to get out of it, right? We don't stay down. Let yourself feel down, acknowledge it, but then and do something to get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing.
I was just going to add to that. It's a numbers game, Tashina. Do you want to go to Mexico with us?
Yes.
Yes, that's your answer. That's your bottom line. Are you willing to do what it takes to get to Mexico?
Yes, that trip's actually got, in Marinos, that trip's
All
got
right.
a special meaning to me. So I really, really want to get there. And I got bummed.
Well,
and I'm going to push. If I don't get it,
Tashina,
I'm going to try.
it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. All you got to do is sponsor. You got kidnappers. That's what you got. Use those kidnappers and get that trip. Because like right now,
Laura's halfway there.
I'm 12 boxes.
I'm mad that I'm
12
still
boxes.
I'm in your boat.
So let me just give you the breakdown of my 12 boxes, okay? And I should really walk the walk, not talk the talk. But I do have a game plan. I have 12 boxes to get to Mexico right now. I wouldn't have to sell another drop of makeup. 12 boxes. Okay? Numbers game. For every 100 people you talk to about the opportunity, 2 are going to sign up. So numbers game. How many people, and I'm not a math person without a pen and paper, but I need 12 people to buy that box. 2 out of 100 are going to buy the box. How many messages do I have to send between now and September to get those 12 boxes gone?
I just had a glass of wine.
Now-
You want me to do math?
I'm not doing the math either. I'm just giving you the breakdown of how many points do you need to go to Mexico? Divide that by 500 points. That's how many boxes you need to sell. Break the boxes down by how many weeks you have left to get the trip. You have 10 weeks left to earn this trip. How many boxes do you need to sell per week to earn the trip? Then times those boxes by 100 messages, because that's how many messages you got to send. Because the reality is 2 out of 100 are going to buy the box.
She just gave
That's
you
a lot.
system.
That is a lot of
The
fucking work.
system.
That is
I
a
think I-
lot of fucking messages, okay? And I'm an F-bomb mom, and I'm from New York, and I'm sorry, but
Oh,
I
you're
had
fine.
45 minutes ago. I'm telling you, that's a lot of fucking messages. And you
Yeah.
don't need to stay, I've got this amazing box and this amazing opportunity, and I'd love for you to join my team, and blah, 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 blah. when I do my messages, I'm going to be straight up. Yo, I need to earn this trip to Mexico. 12 boxes away. I can get you $450 of makeup for 99 bucks.
You interested?
And you're going to get a $50 coupon on more makeup. So yo, what are we doing here?
And
You know
let
what
me
I'm
tell
saying?
you this, and then we're going to end this call because it's already 8:20. I'm going to say one more thing. Looking at it forward from not having it, you're going to say, oh my God, that's like 5,000 messages. That's too much. But you know what you won't be saying when you're sitting on the beach with your ass in the sand and a drink in your hand? That was too much. You'll be saying,
Nope.
I'm so glad I pushed for it. I'm so glad I went outside of my comfort zone. It was worth every no. It was worth every ounce of extra that I had to put into it. So just remember, at the beginning, the mountain always looks the biggest. But when you're at the top, that's when you can really see the view. And you'll never regret the effort that you had to put in to get to Mexico when you're in Mexico.
Tashina, you and I are going.
She's going to be like, I'm so glad that pussy
You're
bitch
going.
from New York pushed my buttons.
Hey, April, I love watching you because my favorite uncle passed away in August of last year, but he was from Brooklyn. So you don't.
That pussy
All
bitch
right,
from
you
New York
guys.
pushed my buttons.
My house is starting to reemerge
I know.
from their
Go to your poker game.
bedroom. No, I'm not doing poker tonight, but everybody's now
Oh.
starting to come out out of I yell at them before the team call, don't come out of your room. So that only lasts for apparently an hour and 20 minutes. So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, let me know. Tashina, I'm always here for you. Laura, April, you already know. I'm always here and I'm cheering for you and rooting for you, and I can't wait to see you guys win. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Bye, guys. Thank